landing at Chavez Airport in Lima, Peru, on the burial of former President Ferdinand Marcos, and he said, hopefully, both sides will exercise maximum tolerance and come to terms with the burial of former President Ferdinand Marcos. In an additional statement to the Presidential Communication Office, he further said that he hoped everybody would find a space in their hearts to forgive and to set free those who had hurt or injured them. The decision to bury the late President Ferdinand Marcos today is a personal decision of the Marcos family. We respect their choice of date for the interment. The Supreme Court lifted the status quo ante order and allowed the burial of the remains, and the President adheres to the ruling of the High Court. Government extended the necessary assistance in matters relating to protocol and honors. We understand that there is a segment of society against the burial at the libingan ng mga bayani. The President fully understands this and has allowed any form of mass action as long as it is legal, peaceful, and in accordance with the law. In the past, he has said, let history judge, but I will do what is legal, and the Supreme Court has ruled that it is. End of statement. Questions, please. Yes?
Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Was the President informed or consulted that the burial will take place today?
As far as I know, he was not sure about the exact date, as far as I know.
Do you think that there will be some adverse impact on the burial of the former president, which was timed, whether intentionally or not, on the president's arrival and participation in the APEC leaders meeting?
Well, let's put it this way. I'm sure that there will be negative reactions, whether negative or positive, whether he was going to be there or not. So I suppose this is to be expected and respected.
Choices?
Thank you.
So just to belabor the point,
Yes.
the Marcos family did not inform President Duterte of the date of the interment.
As far as I know, there was no direct line between the Marcos. As far as I know, there was no direct conversation regarding those matters. He was on his way to his attention was focused on the trip to Lima.
But of course, you need a considerable amount of time for government forces to render assistance, right? So that must have been communicated to what office?
There were other agencies that were attending to the matter.
That's it for me then.
Yusek, the President is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and I suppose the Army was informed beforehand of that date. So he was not informed by the Army of the date of the burial.
Well, as far as I know, that the agencies are responsible for these matters, and since it's actually at the end of the day, it's a simple burial. So proper agencies could actually address the matter. Yes. Yes.
In one of the interview of the media, General Pato de la Rosa says the President informed him about the burial of President Marcos at the LNB. What's your reaction? General Pato de la Rosa admits in one of the media interview na alam daw po ng Pangulo ang paglilibing sa libingan ng mga bayani kay Marcos.
Then he must know some things. Thank you. But as far as we know, the President was focused on the trip to APEC, for the APEC in Lima, Peru. Thank you.
Joseph.
Sir, the statement of the President you just read, when did he write it?
He didn't write it. He actually verbalized it to me.
When you came down?
Yes.
Okay.
Not came down. Before we came down. When I went up to him and asked, I told him that, sir, so-and-so has happened, and do you have any statement regarding this matter?
Okay.
And he did.
So, nasa airplane, sir?
Nasa plane pa kami.
Okay.
Sir, obviously there is going to be some suspicion that it was timed perfectly for the trip of President Duterte, the Marcos Bureau, and there is going to be some speculation that he may have avoided the backlash as a result of this timing.
Well, whether he would have stayed or whether he left, there would always be some form of a comment. You know, one of the things that there were people were expecting that he would be there because this was supposed to be a campaign promise, but he was not there. So it just so happened that there are certain responsibilities as leader, and he does it.
Sir, one of the reasons why so many people seem to be so affected or disturbed by this news is the sneakiness or the
Yes.
the sneakiness, the perception that it was done like a thief in the night. That's a quote by some of the commentators.
I doubt that there's nothing anything sneaky about the matter. In fact, it was part of his campaign promise, right? So the fact that they finally buried him is part of the whole process, and there was no intent to be, as you say, sneaky. Thank you. Last question, please.
Sec, good morning.
Yes.
Welcome to Lima.
Yes.
Sir, how nalaman ng Pangulo yung paglilibing kay kay dating Pangulo Ferdinand Marcos at sino ang nag-inform sa kanya during the flight?
Well, actually, I went up to him. I don't know if he knew about it, but when I went up to him, I assumed that I'm going by events. That's when he made the statement. So I assumed that was when he heard about it.
For clarification, ito po ba yung
Come again?
yung lumapit po kayo sa kanya at napag-usapan niyo yung paglilibing na kay Ferdinand Marcos? Ito yung galing na kayo ng Auckland patungo ng Lima?
Kanina lang po. Upon arrival and and then there was news coming from social media, and so we talked with Sec Martin. I went to to the president, and I asked him. I informed him. I said, "This event has happened," and he said, "Do you have a statement?" So it was handled with regularity. Thank you. Last question. Yes.
Was the president surprised when you told him that Marcos was buried today?
Well, he certainly did not have a prepared statement, so I suppose he was surprised.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any directive from the President kasi hindi may iwasan magkakaroon ng mga rally and may appeal kayo sa public regarding this?
Yes, like the president said, like the president said that he hopes that we might find a space in our hearts to be able to forgive and set free those who have hurt or injured us. Also, in a more elevated sense of logic, he said that he hoped that the burial would actually bring about a cycle of healing for the Filipino people. And it has been a few decades, and in fact, practically a new generation has grown up not really knowing about the Marcos years. And while we may put these things in perspective later, we certainly hope that the Filipinos will be able to move on and bring about of course people resent, some people resent that statement about moving on, but I believe it is a reasonable thing to ask that the people do after this event, that they will set aside differences and learn to build bridges, and that we might build a stronger nation, which we see the president attempting to do. It's a difficult situation. There are many concerns regarding the matter, but it's something that we hope that the Filipinos will be able to overcome and build a stronger, lasting nation.
Microphone.
Sec, kumusta po ang Pangulo sa kanyang biyahe? Hindi ba makaka-apekto sa kanya yung mga balitang nagagaling ngayon sa Pilipinas na medyo dami yung mga nagprotesta dahil sa Marcos? Hindi ba makaka-apekto sa kanya pagpalo dito sa leader summit?
The president is very grounded, a very centered person, and he in fact anticipated that there will be protests, that there will be negative perceptions, but he did say he allows it. He himself gives space for resistance.
So po yung mahabang biyahe
in their character na, tumataas talaga sa ano. How does the palace feel that the Marcos family did it? How does the palace, also the president, feel that the Marcos family did it this way?
Usually I do not. But I think it's very misguided to consider the president as doing a sneaky act.
Okay.
In fact, he's always faced all his situations square and fair. This is, I do not say this is a minor event, but this is a putting an end to. And I think it's a very courageous. The fact that he has allowed is actually a very courageous act already.
But I think the manner,
the manner of what?
the burial, na sikreto, tapos biglang sumipot na lang ng
The burial belongs to the Marcos family, and he's being given a soldier's burial. So it is their private affair.
And however they wanted to do it, it's out of the president's hand.
It is the family's concern.
Okay, fair enough.
Secretary, I think the Marcos family should apology once and for all. Should apology once and for all to diffuse or to erase all the hatred.
I cannot speak for the Marcos family, but let them handle their concerns one by one. First they bury, and then as things will transpire, they may come around to that situation. But it's not for us to say that.
Can we ask for your opinion, sir? If they should apologize.
In this case, I have no opinion. Thank you. Yeah, and it will have to take its own natural course. Thank you.
So, ang sinasabi po ng palasyo yung pangyayari po ay responsibilidad lang ng mga Marcos at hindi po ito cargo ng gobyerno.
I believe that the president has done his part, and then the Marcos is also. The actual burial itself belongs to the Marcos family.